Welcome to the Never Ending Faith Podcast. I'm Dave Carver. This is a place for real conversations about faith, life, struggle, purpose, and the strength it takes to keep moving forward when the world says quit. Whether you're searching for answers, healing, or simply hope for another day, you're not here by accident. So settle in, open your heart, and let's walk this journey together. A season for everything. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Never Ending Faith Podcast. It feels good to say those words again. For the past several weeks, I've stepped away for a summer break. Sometimes even those of us who love what we knew need a season of pause. A season to take a breath, a season to reflect, and a season to simply listen. And maybe that's exactly where today's message begins. There's a verse in Ecclesiastes that many of us know by heart. To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die. A time to plant, a time to harvest. A time to weep, a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. Life was never designed to stay in one season forever. Yet, if we're honest with ourselves, most of us spend our lives trying to hold on to the comfortable seasons and rush through the difficult ones. We want spring without winter, harvest without planting. We want victory without the struggle. But God rarely works that way. Every season has something to teach us. Think about nature for a moment. Spring is full of promise. Tiny buds begin appearing on the trees that looked exactly and completely lifeless just weeks before. Hope begins to return. Summer is a season of growth. Long days, warm sunshine, hard work. Crops are developing even when you cannot see it happening. Autumn reminds us that letting go is not always loss. Sometimes the leaves must fall so the tree can survive for another winter. And yes, winter. Winter often feels silent. Nothing seems to be happening. The trees are all bare, the fields are empty, the days are shorter. But beneath the frozen ground, life is still preparing for another spring. Sometimes our faith feels just like winter. Maybe your prayers seem to go unanswered. Maybe the diagnosis wasn't what you'd hoped for. Maybe your marriage is struggling. Maybe you're grieving someone you love. Maybe you've lost your job. And maybe you're wondering why God seems so quiet. If that's where you are today, I want to encourage you with this thought. God does some of His greatest work underground. Roots grow before the fruit ever appears. Character develops before opportunity arrives. And faith deepens before blessings become visible. Just because you cannot see God working does not mean He has stopped working. I've learned something over the years. Every meaningful chapter of my life was preceded by a season I didn't quite understand. Sometimes I thought I was experiencing setbacks. Looking back, I realized they were actually preparations. The closed doors taught me perseverance. The disappointments taught me humility. The waiting taught me to trust. None of those lessons felt good at the time, but they became part of who I am. Maybe you've been asking God, when is this season going to end? That's an understandable question. But perhaps the better question to ask is this: what is God trying to teach me while I'm here? Because if we miss the lesson, we often repeat the season. There's another truth we need to remember. No season lasts forever. Your pain is not permanent. Your loneliness isn't forever. Your discouragement is not permanent. But neither are your successes. That's why we remain humble when life is going well, and hopeful when life is difficult. We know that the seasons change. One of my favorite thoughts is this: God isn't just the God of spring. He's the God of every season. He's present in hospital rooms. He's present at funeral homes. He's present in our unemployment lines. He's present during celebrations. He's present when prayers are answered. And He's present when the answer is simply, not yet. Faith is not believing life will always be easy. Faith is believing God remains faithful through every season life brings. As we begin this new season of the Never Ending Faith podcast, I hope these episodes become a reminder that wherever you find yourself today, you're not walking alone. If you're celebrating, let's celebrate together. If you're struggling, let's walk through it together. If you're questioning, let's seek God together. If you're waiting, let's wait with hope together. Because the same God who carried you through yesterday is always standing in your tomorrow. So don't give up because your current season looks different than the one you'd hoped for. Winter is not the end of our story. Spring always comes. Perhaps not on our timetable, but always on God's. So I want to thank you for joining me for another season. This is season 6 of the Never Ending Faith podcast. I'm truly grateful that you choose to spend these few minutes with me each week. If today's episode has encouraged you, would you do me a favor? Share this podcast with a friend, a family member, a coworker, or someone who may need a little hope today. Word of mouth has always been the greatest way this ministry or any ministry grows. If you'd like to reach out, share a prayer request, or suggest a future topic, or maybe you just want to tell me where you're listening from, I'd love to hear from you. You can email me at carverd143@gmail.com. Repeating, carverd143@gmail.com. So until next time, remember this. Whatever season you're walking through today, God has not forgotten you. God is not finished with you, and your best chapter may still be ahead. So remember, as always, keep the faith alive.